Hello, beautiful souls. It's Stephanie Levinston checking in as the summer days are nearing August, so therefore nearing their end soon. And I wanted to check in, and I wanted to be outside and check in. I'm feeling, probably as many of you are, so connected and concerned about what's going on globally with our climate and weather and the fires and the red tide. At least in Florida here, we're dealing with these algae blooms that are out of control, and it's turning like the overgrowth of it is killing turtles and it's killing fish, and of course it's human carelessness that's at the root of all of this. So that is weighing very heavily on me. And one of the things that I struggle with is keeping a balance between staying informed and then going to that place of overwhelm. It's hard to do. It's a big challenge for me. When I sit down at my computer and there's so many options for where my attention might be directed or diverted, and I find that I find myself scanning, my feeds and seeing things that just are very distressing, of course, just with regards to the weather. Not the weather, but to climate change. Hey, Patty. Love you, lady. So glad you're on here. And so it weighs very heavily on my heart. And I ask myself, and I ask God, and I ask my guidance system, which is really no separate than myself or God. What do I do about this? How do I become a healing factor here with this intense time that we are in, with Mother Earth responding in the only way she can possibly respond to the warming, to the heating, to her inability to cool herself because we've cut down so many of her trees and we have altered the landscape in such a way. I need you here too, Patty. I know we all need to hear and share in this way, so please do share. What do I do, right? It's so easy to fall into a place of despair, and it's so easy to fall into a place of hopelessness. And I'm going to tell you what I do. And I have not mastered this. I want to come clean here and say that every single day I'm in overwhelm. I don't stay there. Some days I do stay there. Or not the whole day, but for hours at a time. Or it's this like low level, like underlying, like I'll almost call it malaise for lack of a better word. Just like, oh, this is so big. Our issues are so huge. The need is so great. What can I do? How can I be in the energy of this, the truth of this, the essence of this, and know that I am part, each one of us is part of the healing. Every breath that we take can be a healing breath for us and for the planet. Every thought that we think, or at least since we don't have direct control over our thoughts, where we direct, which thoughts gain our attention, which thoughts we spend more time in, that is a healing possibility and factor too. Okay, all right, Patty, we'll check you later. Have fun in Toronto. I hope there are no fires there. I mean, there's fires in the Arctic, people. It's unbelievable. The Arctic shouldn't be burning. And so here's what I do. I get still and I get quiet. And I breathe and I close my eyes and I walk away from the computer or from the phone, from the device that is the source of feeding me information. And I just stop. I just stop and I sit and I listen. And sometimes when I listen, I don't hear anything, and that's beautiful, right? That's just peace and openness. And sometimes when I listen, I do. I hear direction, I hear support, I hear guidance, and I attune more closely to that. And sometimes when I listen, I ask a question, like, how can I offer myself in this moment some relief from this overwhelm, from this difficult place, from this place of challenge? But we have to be our own pattern interrupt here. We have to, hey, Ellie, nice to see you too, beautiful. You've been on my mind. I so want to take you up on your offer to come and hang out at your house and just be in peace. So we will figure that out no matter where that is. Wow, there's a lot of ants here. I'm just gonna move my feet. Hopefully they're not the biting kind. So I get to a place where I ask a question: what would be in the greatest service right now to my heart, to my essence, and for me in service? I'm gonna do it. And for me as one who is in service to others, because you are too, all of us are, we are all in service in our own ways. And if we ask this, I'll tell you that when I ask this, I always get support and I always get guidance. And sometimes it takes me to a bookshelf or my closet where I might get some inspiration from some of my favorite authors. And I'm going to share some of that, because today it did take me to my closet and had me reach for Marianne Williamson's book, The Law of Divine Compensation, which is just so delicious. And if you nibble on that book here and there, there's so much inspiration and truth in there that can support us. But the plight of our planet is weighing very heavily on me. Another insight that I get, some other guidance that I get, is to do more. And this is a tricky one for me. This is very tricky, because it's not true that we have to be in a state of doing, okay? Because we're human beings, and it's equally important that our actions be in service to ourselves and also to the greater good. I say equally important because if you are not in service to yourself, you cannot be of support to others, or the support that you offer to others is this compared to this. And so I want to serve from this place. I want to serve from this place of overflow. I want to serve from the place of having served myself, and I've gotten out of the routine of that. So this morning I reclaimed my service to self, and I did yoga, and I did meditation, and I did some mindfulness practice, and I do feel more centered and more able to be in service. I have more available. And then what I did that was out of service was I sat down at the computer to do some work, but since I didn't have the structure in my mind of where I was going to guide my attention, it went the way of news feeds and environmental issues, and then I went right back to overwhelm. So I pulled myself back from that precipice of overwhelm, and here I am with you, because we serve each other, the sisterhood and brotherhood of those who care deeply about others, about all living things. We can gather here and we can support each other and share in this way. And so you all, no matter if you're live or watching the replay, are helping to heal and center me. You're helping me in the work that I do by your presence, by your open-heartedness, by showing up. And in comes a delicious breeze. So in the breeze, Mother Earth is telling me all will be well. We are part of a huge planetary shift, and we can choose what energy we bring to it at any given moment. And the energy of overwhelm is very natural, and the energy of despair is very natural. And I think that we are all feeling that, but it can come in waves. And if we allow the waves, waves always recede. And it's in the recession of that wave of emotional energy where our wisdom lies. So if we can stay present to that and available to that, then the wisdom behind the wave of overwhelm for me today is Mother Earth saying, get outside, which I did, plant your feet on the earth, which I will, even though there's lots of ants around, and feel the energy, draw in the energy, because yes, there are areas of the planet that are showing the suffering, that are showing the damage that humans have created through our neglect of our connection to the earth. So what do? Each and every one of us reconnect to the earth. Do it in your way. Part of that is feeling the despair and the overwhelm and the anger and the rage and frustration and deep sadness, and part of that is also feeling the beauty and the power and the love and the connection that is here, always available to us. So it's both and. It's not either or. We don't have to be in resistance to one in order to avail ourselves of the other. So that is the wisdom that's coming through right now. That is what I am present to right now. And as I always do, like a broken record, I am inviting you to get out on the earth barefoot with your hands. My hands are in the grass right now. I am under a tree right now. This tree is a source of protection and nourishment, and my dear sweet dog named Bailey is buried under this tree, so it has even more power and connection and beauty. So where's your place of beauty? I want, if you can, type it in. I want to know where your place of beauty is, inside your home or outside your home, in nature. Have you brought nature inside your house? I need to do that. How are we accessing this? How are we nourishing and growing? So I want to read a little bit of inspiration to you that is inspiration to me, and see where it sits, how it settles out with you. So this is from Marianne Williamson's book, The Law of Divine Compensation, and I totally randomly just open to random pages and see what jumps out at me. So what jumps out at me today is, think of your work life not as separate from your spiritual life, but as central to your spiritual life. Whatever your business, it is your ministry. Every relationship either gives us energy or withholds energy from us, according to what we give to or withhold from it. It's not just our behavior towards others, but our very thoughts about them that builds and or destroys relationships. And the same goes, I'm just relating this to how we relate to our planet, to our mother, capital M, mother. So my thoughts about the planet and the destruction and despair that I'm feeling have everything to do with the level of service that I can be and the level of support and healing that I can offer. And while it is okay to have all of the feelings that we have about it, it's also okay to get space between those feelings and to invite in the grace and the blessing and the miracle that this planet is. And so, for example, when I go have my lunch later, that's really not a moment for me to be in despair. That is absolutely a perfect moment for me to be in the deepest of gratitude for every item of food on my plate, because guess what? That came from the earth. Guess what? She continues to support us and source us with nourishment and sustenance and love and well-being. And so how we attend to that and expand on that energy of gratitude and abundance is our gift. It's our gift to ourselves, and it's our gift to others. It's our gift to the planet. Marianne goes on to say, since all minds are joined, everyone subconsciously knows everything. If you think about that for a moment, there are times when I feel that I'm hiding my emotions or my thoughts quite cleverly, but she's saying that subconsciously my thoughts and emotions are known by others, which I totally believe that is totally true. And if you have someone in your life that's very close with you, a partner, a spouse, child, a loved one, and your mood shifts slightly, just notice how that other person probably notices that. For example, my husband and I are getting much better with our communication and support with one another. And this morning, he had, oh, this beautiful butterfly is here. He had a slight shift in mood, which I picked up on, and then it shifted I allowed it to shift my mood. And before we knew it, we were both in some sort of a rut that's familiar, though not healthy. And luckily, since communication is so much better, we were able to say, hey, what is this about? What's going on here? How is this? What just happened? And kind of untangle that, which is just an example of how all minds are joined. Subconsciously, your state of being is noted and noticed by others. Thinking positively about others has a miraculous power. Practice that. I think it's about to rain. There's been a change, a slight shift in the air, in the temperature, in the wind. And I wish that we could send this abundant rain that we have in Florida to all the areas that are burning. Ooh, this is interesting. Still in the same book, Native Americans recognized that wherever there was a poison in the forest, an antidote to the poison could be found within several feet. Usually what we're looking for is on some level right in front of us. The universe is wired to give us what we need, yet we have to show up for the experience of life with a positive attitude in order to experience its gifts. I've known people who seem to think that waking up in the morning, driving to work, and showing up at their desk would be enough. Well, it's not. Our attitude, a willingness to bring all our emotional, psychological, material, and intellectual resources to a job, makes all the difference. It's not just what a job brings to us that matters, but what we bring to a job. And this, by the way, is not just referring to your paying job. Some of us don't have paying jobs. Some are working in the home. And while there is no financial compensation for that, if it were to be measured, how you care for your children, how you care for your home, the way that you serve your family and others, it is immeasurable. Okay, one more little tidbit here that I thought was powerful. Okay, thinking thunder. Thinking that your talent or your abilities make you special will produce fear. I know this one. Because such thinking posits a separation between you and others. Separation between you and others means separation between you and God. And separation from God produces not power, but rather a hidden hysteria. Quote, I'm better than anyone else is not actually a success-oriented thought form. Quote, I'm personally no big deal, but I'm here, so I guess I'm the one who's supposed to be channeling the genius of God in this particular situation is better. I'm going to read that again because that's pretty amazing. I am personally no big deal, but I'm here. So I guess I'm the one who is supposed to be channeling, those are her words, channeling the genius of God in this particular situation. It's humble, not arrogant, to realize that the genius of God lies within you. Just remember that the genius itself is not in you any more than it's in anyone else. Okay, so like I said, y'all, this is for me This is what resonates deeply with me in this moment, which I will say quite possibly, perhaps even likely, resonate with some of you. And I feel this reminder in my day to day because that human side of me feels with some frequency this idea, this awareness that I'm no more special than anyone else, which at times is very relieving and at times very stressful to think of that, because if I'm no more special, then what am I actually here to do, and who am I? And all of those existential questions can come pouring in. But because I am no more special, the genius of God can flow through me as it flows through each and every one of us. The way that I work, the way that I offer my spiritual work and my channeling is just my flavor of allowing that flow of genius through me. But the way that each of us offers the flow is equally a gift on the planet and has equal ability to create the shift, to add to the healing that we're needing on the planet. And so your willingness to show up for yourself first and then for others is such a gift. Continue to offer that. Continue to hold others in positive thought and love, even those who have stepped on our toes, even those that have created said things to create insecurity perhaps within us or made us really question ourselves. Those are gifts. Every time I go to that place of self-questioning and insecurity, it's a gift. It's a gift because it's the reminder and the access to that human side of who I am, having a similar experience as every other human on the planet has, and I am grateful for it. Not necessarily in the moment, because in that moment it feels really sticky. I'm grateful for each of you. Thank you for joining me outside. I think I should probably go in before lightning comes, but I'm sending so much love from my heart to you, so much heart connection. Sending each of you blessings on your journeys. May you be full in the genius of God that you channel, full in the genius of self, which is no different than the genius of God, and may we be in recognition of this within ourselves and others to honor that which is sacred. All beings are sacred. Much love.